Teaching number 157. People of Israel, you present your heart to me. I want you to love me as a father, my spirit is desirous of your love. The world has forgotten me, and if it seeks me, it does so through imperfect worships, and since it has no proof of my presence, it loses its faith and becomes unbelieving. If someone told them that I am speaking to the people of Israel, they would not believe it, they would ask me for proof and they would be like Thomas, and I have told you, blessed is he who believes without seeing. The temple that I have prepared for me is in the very spirit of man, as I have always taught you. Study my manifestations and think that I have come among you once more because you have not known how to come to me, having the law, my word, and the prophecies, you have not fulfilled your mission. If you had analyzed, you would be waiting for the events that are to mark this new era. I have come to give you my teaching as in the second era. Many will not know me, only those who are spiritualized will see this manifestation clearly. You who hear me feel charity for humanity that has not found my mark and prepare yourselves to teach, become teachers. With how much joy you will see in your disciples grow their faith and knowledge in my doctrine. Many hearts will come to me. Those who have been filled with pride will come humble, others will arrive guided by their conscience, measuring their works and with great repentance. I am waiting for you to prepare you, so that your spirit may be like a clean force, and my word, like crystal clear water that quenches your thirst. Elijah was sent to prepare those who were to receive this light. It surprised humanity sleeping in a deep sleep for everything that is spiritual, only a few were prepared to receive the message. How much happiness in those children to see my promise fulfilled. And how much love in my spirit for all men. Years have passed and my word has flowed full of essence, to feed hearts. Others will wake up late, when this manifestation has passed, but do not lament, because a time of greater grace will come for all, in which you will seek to communicate with me without material intermediaries. Men of science will be touched by me. Many strange diseases will appear and they will not know how to cure them, they will be powerless to ease the pain. Only those who rise spiritually will have the power to heal. There will be ministers who, filled with the desire to become spiritual, will join the people of Israel. Many who have been first will be last. Of many institutions and churches that have not been built on a foundation of love, not a stone will remain upon a stone. I am clearing the fields, and I do not want weeds to grow alongside the wheat. Visit homes, approach the sickbed, help those who suffer in prisons and places of atonement, comfort all, go in my name and practice your gifts. Take the spiritual realm as an example, imitate it in its patience and in its love for humanity, in its struggle for the welfare of all of you. Those who have loved the world very much, but who have then listened to me, have recognized their mistakes and have felt that the desire to purify themselves is born in them, sustain an inner struggle and then ask me, Lord, is it necessary to ignore the flesh and the world, to make our spirit free? To which I reply, merit does not consist in ignoring the flesh, but rather in finding harmony between the spirit and the body that serves as its wrapper. However, can we achieve this harmony if the spirit does not first allow itself to be guided by its conscience? Do you believe that I have made your body an enemy of your spirit? No, you answer me, but that is how they have always marched, as enemies. They have always been at war with each other, because the spirit feels the desire to be free and to reach a higher level of perfection. Only my teachings, which are the explanation of the law, can lead you to harmony, to the inner reconciliation of your being. Believe that when you have won that battle, the rest of the way will be easy for you. The flesh, you must understand, is the ship, the spirit is the pilot. How can it be fair that the ship is the one that drives the pilot as it sees fit? From that lack of harmony in man, is from where these great storms have arisen, from which, most of the time, the spirit has been defeated. But when the flesh, finally subdued by persuasion and the confidence that the spirit is heading towards its great end, meekly takes up the mission that corresponds to it and no longer deprives its spirit of what belongs to it, will have achieved harmony between two natures of which the human being is formed. You will reach this elevation when matter and spirit walk together along the path of spiritual evolution that shows you the love and wisdom of your Creator through your consciousness. Matter, with its obedience, with its docility and meekness before the dictates of its spirit, will come to crucify itself on the cross of sacrifice and renunciation, to give its spirit elevation and the joy of having reached its place in the eternal life. Free will is the highest expression, it is the most complete gift of freedom that was granted to man on the path of life, so that his perseverance in good, achieved by the advice of conscience and by the struggle in the fulfillment of the tests, allows him to reach the bosom of the Father. But free will has been replaced by licentiousness, conscience is ignored and only the dictates of the world are heeded, and spirituality has been replaced by materialism. In the face of so much confusion and so much deviation, my doctrine will seem absurd to the men of this time, but I tell you that it is the right teaching to help men free themselves from the lethargy in which they find themselves. Travelers, leave your staff and your bag and rest from your long journey, gather around me, eat my bread and converse with your master. Let your spirit come to me in perfect communion. You are the same people who in other times followed me in search of improvement for your spirit, and now you ask me surprised, why have you returned among us? And I answer you, it is written that the spirit of my children must live at the right hand of their Lord for all eternity, and for you to be able to reach me, it is necessary that you learn and earn merit by imitating your master. I have sown my seed in you through the ages, and how few are those who have loved me. I have manifested my power through envoys, chosen from a great number of spirits, from the just Abel who was an example of humility, Joseph, son of Jacob, on whom wisdom and holiness were poured out, John the Baptist, who only lived to bear witness of me, without having taken anything from the world that would harm his body or his spirit, and like these, who were clean in spirit, so many others that you know and whose work grows and becomes gigantic with the passing of the years. However, so many tests and so many voices that you have allowed to lose themselves in infinity have not been enough for you, because you have not wanted to see in my envoys a reflection of my divinity. You asked for the presence of your Lord, to touch him and hear his voice speaking your own language, and it was granted to you to achieve your salvation, and despite having had me so close and having spoken to my people, you have not come after me, and you have forced me to return among you. My lesson of the second era is written in the book of your conscience. I taught you to love and to receive the caress and tenderness of Mary. I recreated myself feeling and loving the warmth of my mother's lap, also savoring the sustenance that her breast offered me. I was able to enjoy with her and share the work in the hard days. I received the caress of the rays of the Star King, and I enjoyed contemplating the mountains, the fields, the sea, and I poured out my blessings on all of them. I prepared the harvests, the waters, and everything that gives food to men. I knew how to shake my friend's hand, I enjoyed myself with the innocence of children, with the gallantry and nobility of young men, and with the purity of heart of maidens. I was filled with satisfaction as I contemplated the selflessness and sacrifice of mothers and the strength of men. For 33 years I lived in the world, so that men could feel the perfection and examples of their Lord, whom they could contemplate closely, and so that they would learn to imitate me at all times. Teach you the love of God, as well as the fulfillment of his laws. I told you how you should love your parents, your brothers, and your children. I spoke to you about the love between spouses. I showed you the clean path of work, respect, and charity towards one another. I invited you to live in perfect communion with the Father and also in harmony with nature. Yet many were called and few were chosen. There were 12 on whom I poured out the flow of my wisdom. I made them responsible for the Second Testament, for my lessons given almost all in a figurative sense, of my parables that were countless, and all that was recorded in the conscience of men, so that neither time nor vicissitudes could erase them. I gave strength to those children, so that nothing could cower them in the fight that awaited them, and they knew how to face the wise and place themselves above human science. I said to my disciples, I leave you as shepherds of humanity, of that flock today scattered that will have to be reunited in a single fold. I also told them, build the temple, and when speaking to them in this way, I did not refer to temples built of stone, I spoke to them of the Spirit, where it is appropriate to build the dwelling place for your Lord. Man cannot even imagine my temple, because it is made up of the universe with all its beings, and it is in it that the true altar, the offering, and the light are found. The heart of my disciples was prepared, the glass was clean inside and out and full of sweetness, faith, and hope. Thus they rose to communicate the good news to humanity. And speaking after my departure, they said to their brothers, you can all receive the Lord, in his word is contained the blood and the body of the Master. So they talked and I led them step by step. They knew how to teach and prove all their words with facts. Wherever they went, they were inside the temple, whether they were in the desert, in the valley, or in the various nations that their feet stepped on. Their mouths were like a spring of crystalline and life-giving waters that purified the peoples. They did not have, as Jesus did not, neither a crown, nor a scepter, nor a purple robe, they were humble. I told them, be humble, be the last wherever you go. Give to your brothers all that you have received from me, do not hide anything and make my seed multiply and reach all hearts. My disciples have always respected human life, they will never dare to take my place as judge. They knew how to leave me the cause, just or unjust, that only I could resolve. They did not ask men why they sinned and they had pity and mercy for all. Now, in the third era, as my people near the end of my communication, I find myself preparing new disciples. Everything has been consummated according to my will. I am building the indestructible temple in the spirits of my children. Present me no more symbols, nor represent me in material form, just listen and obey my inspirations, that will be enough for you to achieve spirituality. During this time you have heard my voice in the same way that I made you hear it in the first era, in which it made the spirit of men tremble. Now I do not come to give you my teaching through Jesus, my incarnate word, I have spoken to you through human beings, because you have already climbed and can understand me and transmit my word. The end of this manifestation is near, to start it in a higher form, establishing spirit-to-spirit communication with your Creator, which is used by the higher spirits that dwell near me. Do not fear the day of my departure, for I will never be absent from you. In the second era, after my ascension, I presented myself to my disciples limited in the form of Jesus, to give them consolation. Today, you do not know how many days you will not feel me, but at the end of them, you will look at me again and feel that I inspire you, and that new words flow into your mind. I only ask for unification, a single body and a single will, so that you may be worthy of reaching the end. The 12 tribes of the chosen people will be present on that day, the 12 apostles will also accompany you, so that you feel strengthened by their examples, because I am going to leave you like them, like sheep among hungry wolves, but I will be with you in your persecution, in prison, at all times when you need me. I will protect my seed. Work hard still, so that when I see that love, cleanliness and simplicity reign among my people, I will leave you as teachers of humanity. If they ask you for teaching, give it, if they make you be silent, humbly be so, always so at your pace, as I have taught you. Love your brothers, so that you can lay the foundations of peace and harmony among them. People, when will you bear fruit? It has been a long time since I have been teaching you, and the apostles that humanity needs so much to get up have not yet emerged. Short is the time you have left before you can still hear me, and it is necessary that you learn my lessons, so that it will be easier for you to bear witness to them. Think that from the examples that you give as well as from your works, after I have stopped speaking to you, it depends that many of the hearts that did not have the joy of listening to me in this manifestation, awaken to faith and convert to my work. I give you as an example of these words, the conversion of Saul, later called Paul, who completely gave his body and spirit to the service of his Lord. Paul was not counted among the 12 apostles, he did not eat at my table or follow me along the roads to listen to my teachings, rather, he did not believe in me nor did he look favorably on those who followed me. In his heart there was the idea of exterminating the seed that I had entrusted to my disciples, which was already beginning to spread, but Paul did not know that he was one of mine. He knew that the Messiah was to come, and believed in it, but he could not imagine that the humble Jesus was the promised Savior. His heart was filled with the pride of the world, and that is why he had not felt the presence of his Lord. Saul had risen up against his Redeemer. He persecuted my disciples as well as the people who came to them to hear my message from the lips of those apostles. And so I surprised him, dedicated to persecuting my own. I touched him in the most sensitive part of his heart, and instantly he recognized me, because his spirit was waiting for me, that's why he heard my voice. It was my will that that public man be converted in this way, so that the world witnessed at every step those amazing works that would serve as a stimulus to his faith and understanding. Why cite by fact the life of that man, who since then devoted himself to loving his fellow men, inspired by love for his master and in his divine lessons. Paul was one of the greatest apostles of my word. His testimony was always of love, cleanliness, truth and light. His previous materialism was transformed into a very lofty spirituality, his hardness became infinite tenderness, and thus the persecutor of my apostles was changed into the most diligent sower of my word, into the tireless traveler who would lead to different nations, to regions and to villages, the divine message of his Lord, for whom he lived and to whom he offered his life. Here you have, beloved people, a beautiful example of conversion and a demonstration that, even if they have not listened to me, men can become my great apostles. Today I ask you, where is my people? Where is he who was wise in trials, strong in battles and persevering in fights? It is scattered throughout the world, but I will raise him up with my voice and I will gather him spiritually, so that he may lead all the peoples, but I tell you that now it will be made up of men of all races, who will come to understand what is the alliance that I am waiting for from all men. This people will be strong and combative, but they will not have murderous weapons, nor war chariots, nor will they sing songs of extermination. Their flag will be of peace, their sword of truth and their shield of love. No one will be able to discover where these people are because they will be everywhere. Their enemies will try to destroy them, but they will not be able to, because they will never find them materially united, because their union, their order and their harmony, will be spiritual. If at that time a Moses freed them and led them through arid and lonely roads and led them, passing through the midst of enemies who surrounded them, until they were placed at the gates of the promised land, now an invisible but manifest and present Elijah will call the people to fight and will show them paths of light to take them with a firm and accurate step to the threshold of the dwelling that I have reserved for their spirits. The spiritual law that serves as a norm and guide will be the same that I wrote on the stone and that was revealed to you on Mount Sinai. The spiritual bread that sustains you will be the one contained in the word that was given to you through Jesus. The light that gives you hope and strength to never again deviate from the path of truth, will be the inspiration that at this time is descending from infinity, to reveal to the spirits everything that was unknown to them. Anyone who shows advancement in the gifts that I have granted him, as well as in his spiritual faculties, who is also an indefatigable seeker of truth, or who loves spirituality, truly I tell you that he will be one of the soldiers of this people and will know how to listen to the voice of his Lord when he calls for struggle, as well as when he invites him to peace. Does this vision seem to you to be just a beautiful dream? When Moses sought Israel in Egypt and announced the blessings of the promised land, the people hesitated, because they had become accustomed to being tied to the yoke of servitude and the penalties of slavery. It seemed impossible to them that they could exist for them a land of freedom and well-being. However, that people got up and little by little they approached that land that at first had seemed only a beautiful dream, until they achieved the fruit of their perseverance and loyalty. Do not imagine me wearing a crown and holding a scepter, no, it is better to remember me as humble and simple. I want you to take from my word its essence, which is the food of every spirit. In it you will find the bread of life, the wine of spiritual joy, the fruit of true love. It is necessary that while you eat with me at the table of love and spirituality, you learn to speak to me and learn to listen to me, because this manifestation that you are now witnessing is temporary and it is essential that you learn to communicate spiritually with me so that when you stop hearing my voice in this form, do not feel abandoned, lonely or orphaned. Enjoy this time that you have my communication, but never take from your mind the day that is indicated by my will, so that you receive my word for the last time. I tell you this because those who become so accustomed with my communication, the day they can no longer listen to me will be like death for them and then they will be vulnerable to seek by forbidden means, a manifestation that fills the emptiness of their heart, but my light will not be there. It is necessary that from now on you understand that if you did not have an end to this communication, you could never take a step forward, because you would not be interested in studying my word, nor in seeking spiritual communication. Why do it if day after day you could listen to this word and receive this consolation every time you ask for it? But when the lesson is over and the message has been delivered, everything will change and then, if you want to feel close to me, you will have to meditate on everything that your memory will keep, and if you want to feel strong, you will have to surrender to a true spiritual fulfillment, in that you become sowers of peace, of light, of balm and charity. For your own good, the time that you listen to me through human understanding must be brief, because you are so small and so fragile, that as soon as a little time has passed of listening to me, when you begin to become familiar with my presence in this way, you stop feeling that emotion that overwhelmed you the first few days, and each time you experience less that joy of coming to listen to me, joy that took many nights from your sleep, thinking that you were going to listen to me, longing for the day to come. And the moment to hear again that voice that at times seemed impossible for you to hear. Is it true, you asked in your heart, that I can hear the voice of my Lord? Will I be worthy to witness the manifestation of my Creator, through that wonderful word? O Master, what great joy you have given our spirits by making us hear your paternal voice, your Master's word, your divine word. And you did not tire of listening to me, and you did not want to miss a single word, and you did not want to disobey one of my commands. But time went by and you got used to listening to me, and since you no longer tried to go deeper, my words began to tire you, which you found monotonous, always the same, without realizing that you were the ones who did not arrive prepared as in the early days, when you approached each other full of union, respect, wonder, faith, love and humility. I can tell you that there has not been a single heart that, having listened to me for some time, has not become familiar with my word and my manifestations, so I tell you once again, that due to your smallness and human frailty you cannot remain for a long time in spirituality, and it is better that for your own good I limit the time of my communication, because otherwise, you would all end up not feeling respect for something that has been a grace that your Master, in fulfillment of a promise of the second era, has now come to deliver to you. My peace be with you. Teaching number 150.